As Nigeria reflects on its history and leadership, 2025 marks the centenary of one of the country's most significant political figures, Alhaji Shehu Usman Aliyu Shagari. Born on February 25, 1925, Shagari served as Nigeria's first executive president from October 1, 1979 until December 31, 1983, leaving behind a legacy that continues to shape the nation's political and economic landscape. His presidency, although short-lived, represented a crucial period in Nigeria's democratic evolution, economic development, and foreign policy engagements. As we commemorate his 100th posthumous birthday, it is imperative to revisit his life, achievements, and the impact of his leadership on Nigeria. Shehu Shagari was born into a Fulani family in Shagari, a small town in present-day Sokoto State, on February 25, 1925. His early education took place in Sokoto and later at the Teachers Training College in Zaria, where he honed his skills as an educator. He initially worked as a teacher before entering politics in 1951, joining the Northern People's Congress (NPC), a dominant party in the First Republic. Shagari's political career spanned various ministerial positions in the 1960s. He served as the Minister of Internal Affairs, Works and Survey, and later Finance, where he played key roles in post-independence Nigeria. Following the military coup of January 15, 1966, Shagari temporarily withdrew from politics, only to return in the 1970s as a member of General Yakubu Gowon's regime, where he was instrumental in implementing policies under the National Development Plan. With Gowon's overthrow and Nigeria's return to civilian rule in 1979, Shagari emerged as the presidential candidate of the newly formed National Party of Nigeria (NPN). He won the election, defeating Chief Obafemi Awolowo of the Unity Party of Nigeria (UPN) and Nnamdi Azikiwe of the Nigerian People's Party (NPP), ushering in the Second Republic and a new era of democratic governance. Shagari's administration was committed to national development, focusing on economic growth, industrialization, and education. His policies were guided by the NPN's mantra of One Nation, One Destiny, aimed at fostering unity in the ethnically diverse country. A major highlight of Shagari's presidency was the Green Revolution initiative, launched to boost agricultural productivity and reduce dependence on oil revenue. Recognizing the importance of agriculture, the program sought to increase food production by providing farmers with access to improved seeds, fertilizers, and modern equipment. While the initiative made some progress, its impact was limited by corruption and mismanagement, preventing it from achieving its full potential. Additionally, his government embarked on infrastructural projects, including housing schemes and road networks, to support economic development. Shagari also invested in education by establishing new tertiary institutions and expanding access to primary and secondary schooling across the country. Despite these efforts, the Shagari administration faced significant economic challenges. The early 1980s saw a global oil glut, leading to a drastic fall in oil prices. As Nigeria's economy was heavily dependent on oil exports, the country slipped into a recession. Shagari's government introduced austerity measures, reducing public spending and restricting imports, but these actions were insufficient to stabilize the economy. The economic downturn led to rising unemployment and social discontent. To mitigate the situation, Shagari expelled over 2 million undocumented West African migrants, primarily Ghanaians, in 1983. This move, known as the Ghana Must Go policy, attracted international criticism and strained Nigeria's relations with neighboring countries. On the international stage, Shagari maintained Nigeria's leadership role in African affairs. His government was actively involved in the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in promoting regional integration and cooperation. Nigeria under President Shagari also took a strong stance against apartheid in South Africa. His administration provided financial and logistical support to liberation movements in South Africa, Namibia, and Zimbabwe, reinforcing Nigeria's position as a leading anti-colonial force on the continent. As his first term ended, Shagari sought re-election in 1983. He won a second term, defeating Awolowo and Azikiwe once again. But the elections were marred by allegations of electoral fraud, leading to nationwide protests and political unrest. Barely 3 months into his second term, on December 31, 1983, the military led by Major General Muhammadu Buhari overthrew Shagari's government. The coup was justified on grounds of widespread corruption and economic mismanagement, marking the end of the Second Republic. Shagari was placed under house arrest, while many of his officials faced imprisonment. Following his release from detention in 1986, Shagari largely retreated from active politics. He remained a statesman, offering counsel on national issues while maintaining a dignified presence in Nigerian public life. Despite the controversies surrounding his tenure, many Nigerians began to reassess his leadership with greater objectivity, particularly in comparison to subsequent administrations. President Shehu Aliyu Shagari passed away in Abuja on December 28, 2018. He was 93. President Shagari remains Nigeria's oldest head of state. His death marked the end of an era for one of the country's most influential politicians, a leader whose commitment to democracy, national unity, and economic development remains a crucial chapter in Nigeria's history. A century after his birth, how should Nigerians remember President Shehu Shagari? His tenure was characterized by both achievements and shortcomings. While his economic policies laid the groundwork for infrastructural development and agricultural reform, his administration struggled with corruption, economic instability, and political unrest. The Maitesini uprising and the Ghana Must Go saga were two significant crises that left a lasting impact on Shehu Shagari's presidency, both politically and economically. The Maitesini crisis erupted in December 1980 in Kano, led by Mohammed Marwa Maitesini, a radical preacher who rejected mainstream Islamic teachings and the authority of the Nigerian government. The violence resulted in thousands of deaths, including civilians, security personnel, and followers of Maitesini. A second wave of uprisings occurred in 1982 in Kaduna and Maiduguri, further destabilizing northern Nigeria. The crisis exposed the weakness of the country's internal security and intelligence agencies, raising doubts about Shagari's ability to maintain law and order. It also deepened religious tensions, particularly in the north, creating long-term instability. Although Shagari deployed the military to suppress the rebellion, his administration faced criticism for failing to address the root causes, such as poverty and radicalization. The resurgence of Mitasini in 1982 further contributed to perceptions of weak leadership, ultimately undermining public confidence in his government. Amid these security challenges, Shagari also had to contend with growing economic difficulties, which led to another controversial decision: the mass expulsion of undocumented West African migrants in 1983. As Nigeria faced an economic downturn due to falling oil prices, unemployment soared, and social tensions worsened. In response, Shagari's government ordered the expulsion of over 2 million migrants, primarily Ghanaians, on the grounds that they were taking jobs meant for Nigerians and contributing to rising crime rates. The policy became infamous, as Ghana Must Go became the popular name of checkered bags used by deportees to carry their belongings. While intending to protect Nigerian jobs, the mass expulsion caused economic disruptions and failed to significantly reduce unemployment. The decision also drew international condemnation, straining Nigeria's diplomatic relations with Ghana and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Many saw the move as a desperate attempt by Shagari's government to shift blame for the country's economic struggles, further weakening public support for his administration. As the 1983 elections approached, the growing discontent fueled political tensions. Opposition parties seized on the crisis to challenge Shagari's leadership, pointing to his failure to handle both security threats and economic hardship. The controversies surrounding the Mitasini uprising and the mass expulsion of migrants added to the already tense political atmosphere, setting the stage for subsequent events. On December 31, 1983, barely 3 months into his second term, the military led by Major General Muhammadu Buhari overthrew Shagari's government. The coup was justified on the grounds of widespread corruption, economic mismanagement, and political instability, bringing an abrupt end to the Second Republic. But has anything changed? Because the reasons why Shagari was overthrown persist. In fact, Nigeria is worse off today than in 1983. However, Shagari's presidency represents a democratic experiment that, despite its abrupt end, contributed to Nigeria's political evolution. President Shagari embodied a leadership style that was less autocratic and more consensus-driven, a stark contrast to the military regimes that followed. As Nigeria continues to grapple with governance challenges, Shagari's legacy offers valuable lessons. His commitment to democratic principles, despite the turbulent political environment, serves as a reminder of the importance of institutional integrity, national unity, and economic diversification. In celebrating Shehu Shagari at 100, Nigerians must reflect on his contributions with nuance, acknowledging both his strengths and the limitations of his administration. Shagari's life's journey from a humble teacher to the nation's highest office is a testament to the possibilities within Nigeria's democratic framework. As the country moves forward, remembering Shehu Shagari is not merely an exercise in nostalgia, but an opportunity to draw insights for a more prosperous and stable Nigeria.